How should I your true love know from another one? By his cockle head and staff and his thunder shone. By his cockle head and staff and his thunder.
Without World Theatre Day 2021, the Migrant Theatre project wouldn't have existed. So we're quite young project. Naz tells me that in Turkey, World Theatre Day is a big deal. Across the country, theatres throw open their doors to everyone for free. Not so in Britain. When World Theatre Day came round in March last year, we were nationally locked up, locked down and locked out for the second time. We seem to be living in a different reality, a foreign country, forced back on ourselves, many of us questioning our individual and social identities. At a time when borders seem to be everywhere, Naz, as a Turkish theatre maker, decided to bring her national tradition to affect British culture through a public digital celebration of World Theatre Day. But what could her actors as migrant celebrants perform? During lockdown, Shakespeare seemed to have gone viral, and his work is generally seen as fertile ground in which to cultivate empathy and to catch a glimpse of otherness. We inhabitants of an Anglophone world are repeatedly told that the bard is for everyone, but for the migrant who is perceived to have defective language skills, Shakespeare in Britain is exclusive. The migrant is not entitled to a voice at the heart of British theatre culture. Yet the playwright often imagined that it is only in faraway places and in displaced realities that we discover other possibilities that exist within us. King Lear is literally thrust out into the wilderness, Prospero exiled to an isolated island, and Hamlet finds himself in an unrecognizable world of grief and loss. Shakespeare's plays are studies in marginalization. His character's experience of destabilization is mirrored by that of contemporary migration, where the migrant is required repeatedly to redress the balance between old and new identities, while being simultaneously present in both. We decided to ask what would happen to Shakespeare's characters if they were transposed into and transformed by the roles that have socially and politically defined the contemporary migrant experience. Caliban became a cleaner in a hotel. Shylock washes dishes in a restaurant. Hamlet is a butcher and King Lear a construction worker. Prospero is confined to a wholesale warehouse and Lady Macbeth is trapped in a domestic setting, caring for children, while Caterina Minola becomes a barmaid, simultaneously subservient while also ironically sarcastic and physically strong. JACQUES sits alone in his pigeon loft with only his birds to talk to, and Edmund goes to the corner shop and rails against the experience of otherness, while LAUNCELOT GOBBO contemplates running away from retail enslavement and starting again somewhere new. The Migrant Shakespeare project so far has 2 iterations, both digital. The first, a brief experiment to celebrate World Theatre Day. The second, a longer development performed for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Each of the pieces was recorded in the performer's workplace, and they were all engaged in the job that they are normally employed to do. And these roles have required them to transform their artistic self-perception. We discovered in performance that because the migrant actors were not asked to create a character from scratch, validation for them came from not having to disguise themselves or their displaced identities, one of which was shown to be artistic. This was because permission had been given to them to make a mark on the canon of British theatre, a place to which they normally could not gain access. The loss of status that often accompanies the migrant was confronted, their loss of language recognised. They were empowered, strangely, not only through Shakespeare, but by the opportunity to perform in English. As we approach another World Theatre Day, we want to turn our attention to theatre as an international community, seeking for an opportunity to add yet another layer for audiences to whom Shakespeare is a non-Indigenous playwright. We want to make the research project cross-border, to a cross-border context, to international conferences and festivals, and to ask how the migrant condition can illuminate Shakespeare in the world theatre story.